you can really build a connection with your audience. I think that video is such a powerful way of getting your message across to people. People spend time on videos as well. They want to engage with the videos. And if you've created a good video that gets in front of the right people at the right time with a really good message and a really good offer, then you can't go far wrong.
This is the show where I bring you the best tips, tactics, and strategies for using paid traffic to grow your business on autopilot. You also hear what's working and not working right now from the top minds in online marketing so that you can get more leads and sales every day without having to empty your wallet in the process. All right, let's jump into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Art of Paid Traffic podcast. Rick Mulready here. Hope this finds you well. Thanks a lot for coming to hang out with me today. Really appreciate it. This is episode number 135, and this is part 2 of my interview with YouTube ads expert Tom Breeze, where we're going to be talking about today the anatomy of high converting YouTube ads. If you've not yet heard part 1 in the last episode number 134, which you can listen to at rickmulready.com/134. Make sure to check out that episode because we pick up today where we left off last episode. So just as a quick refresher for you, Tom's the founder of a YouTube ad agency called Viewability, and he's based in the UK, and he works with some really well-known online businesses. And one thing I like about what Tom's doing with YouTube ads in his agency is they work on a bunch of different niches. So he's able to give a really good overview of what's sort of working across the board. So in the last episode, in part 1, we covered things like the mindset of successfully advertising with YouTube ads, the difference between advertising on YouTube and other online marketing channels, the different types of campaigns that you've got available to you and how to use each one to get the best results for your YouTube ads, and then also how to best set up your YouTube ad campaigns. Now, in part 2 today, we dive into what kind of video quality is best for different types of businesses, how long your YouTube video ad should be. That's always a question I get as far as Facebook video ads. How long should the video be? Well, we get into that today for YouTube video ads. We also talk about the anatomy of a high converting YouTube ad, including what you should be saying in your video ad, what kind of landing pages are converting best right now. And then Tom also shares what type of video that he's been testing lately that's working right now, that's given one of his clients a 30% increase in opt-ins and also a 50% increase in sales, and a whole lot more. We cover a lot of different stuff here today in part 2 of my interview with Tom Breeze. Now, before we jump into it with Tom, if you'd like live in-person help from my team and me, as well as other successful online entrepreneurs, you're going to want to grab your spot at my FBA Live event, which is coming up later this month in May here in San Diego. FBA Live, this is a 3-day workshop experience where you're going to learn cutting-edge online business building strategies, tips, and tactics that are working right now to grow and automate your business. This is an opportunity to implement. Most importantly, we spend a lot of time on actual implementation during the workshop with the help of my team and me, your Facebook ad strategy to grow your business. We're going to be personally helping you, looking over your shoulder to make sure that you're walking away with an active, high converting campaign. Or if you're already doing Facebook ads right now, you're going to walk away with a better converting campaign than you've got right now. Everything's going to be done and set up the right way. This is all about helping you discover the blind spots, the things that are maybe getting in the way of your effectively marketing your business online and fixing them on the spot. Now, at the workshop, you're also going to have rare access to and learn from some of the smartest and best online entrepreneurs around, people like Amy Porterfield, Pat Flynn, and more. And you're going to be surrounded by other like-minded entrepreneurs who are also trying to grow their business just like you. To learn more and secure your spot, just go to rickmulready.com/live. That's rickmulready.com/live. Now, this is an event that I limit to just 40 people, and at the time I'm recording this, over half of those spots are already gone. So if you want to grab your spot to come to San Diego and hang out with us for a few days and workshop and implement, FBA Live is going to be for you. rickmulready.com/live. All right, my friends, let's dive into part 2 of my talk with YouTube ads expert Tom Breeze. Okay, so we have all these different different types of campaigns. Do like the keyword campaign, the video remarketing, the placement campaigns, the Google matching. Let's talk about the ads themselves, like the videos. I know a big reason why people, tend to stay away from advertising on YouTube is they're like, I don't have the big budget to create a video. I'm terrible in front of the camera. I hate being on camera, all these different types of things. What types of videos do you tend to, well, first of all, what can you say to those sort of, the challenges that people are facing or thinking, I should say, when they start considering or even thinking about YouTube ads? What's your sort of response to that? And then also, what are you seeing that's working as far as the actual ads themselves?
Yeah, good question. So, I think I've probably gone full 360 on this. So I used to be very much like, hey, look, anyone can learn to present. My first business was teaching people how to speak in public. And when I used to work with people, I know I could get people to go from a pretty bad speaker to a really good speaker and a very confident speaker and go that route. And so I would actually honestly say to people, if you're the face of a business and you know it's important for you to be on camera, then go and get speaker training or go and get media training for sure, because just that ability to be confident in front of a camera and present and know how to communicate effectively is really just such a skill to apply to anything.
Sure. I
think a lot of people can, if you can communicate with someone in the street, or if you can speak to someone at a bar and actually come across well and speak to somebody, but then you feel anxious in front of camera, then I would say, okay, that's just more of a case of just the camera being an anxiety related thing. Try and drop the performance side of you and just be authentic. And it's such an easy thing to say, but such a difficult thing to do. And it's just a case of practice. And it's a case of hey, look, just take your time over it. If you need to have a script, but know that you're going to have to really get comfortable with that script so you can play around with it. I know that when I first started doing some auto cue type presenting to camera, I was awful. I was pretty good at presenting to camera without scripts. But then I knew that if I had lots and lots of scripts to do in one day, then I'd be like, okay, I need to auto cue here. And then there's a learning curve for that as well.
Sure.
It's that sort of thing. I think that it's such a difficult one, because if you are the face of the business and it's important for you to be on camera, then you're going to have to learn and you're going to have to work with people to get really good at it and just practice and practice and practice. But if you do run a bigger company and it can be a faceless company, then of course you've got other options. You've got animation. You can get other people to present for you. You can get your team members to present. It's a great, I'm encouraging my team now to get on camera a little bit more as well, because they have such great insights. And I don't want it always to be okay, and I'll go and present that on camera. It's hey, look, you get in front of camera and do it. So sometimes we want to do that for the brand as well. So there are so many options available, but I do think that when it comes to advertising, the video quality has to be relatively high. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it will depend on your niche that you go into. But let's say, for example, you're pitching financial products and services to people, then you're going to want to have a professional video. That's for sure. A off-the-cuff video is not going to work. So you want to go down the studio and the thing is, you're going to spend a lot of money. If it works, you're going to spend a lot of money on your advertising. And if you can turn $1 into $2, then you're going to want to spend as many $1 as you can. And it'd be such a shame if that video ad is letting you down just because that's where you started. You might as well just just go into the studio, get as best you can, and then from there promote, because then you feel well, at least it's not the ad that's going to let me down here. That's the best I can possibly do. Now it's going to go from there. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think that the answer is you've got to create a good video. It's got to be good. And you've got to spend a little bit of money doing that, unfortunately. But it's advertising. And I don't want to say, yeah, you get away with this sort of video and then promote it and then spend money on it and it doesn't work, because you would have wasted that money. And it might not be because of YouTube. It might be because your video ad's not good enough. And that's typically what I tend to say to people. But that said, you don't need to be an amazing salesperson to be good at video. You don't need to be...
Sorry, I want to interrupt you real quick, Tom, because as you're talking about this, I'm thinking and now I'm laughing. A couple videos I saw yesterday on there. One of them was a dude laying on the couch and he was just holding his phone up and he's like, hey man, literally he's just so turned me off. It was just why? Number one, why am I getting targeted with this? And then the other one was this dude who was standing in a field and again holding his phone out recording, and he was talking so slowly. It was so uncomfortable to watch. And so it was just man, these talking about representing your business in such a way is oh man, this is so terrible. Now, but I get the whole video quality, especially for different types of businesses, is super, super important. Are there situations where, because one of the things on, for Facebook video ads is I tell people a lot is, grab your smartphone and just start recording, and don't let that production necessarily, again, depending on what type of business that you are, hold you up. Are there any situations where you'd say, yeah, you know what? If you're pretty good on camera, grab your smartphone and start recording. Are there any situations like that?
There are some times where you can get away with it. I say get away with it. Sometimes it actually works incredibly well. I mean, I'm not going to say that that doesn't work, because I know that anyone could probably create a video in any format and make it work.
Yeah.
It's different for different industries. I just think when I try it's really interesting if I was to talk to a client that I know can present incredibly well on video, then I'd be like, hey, look, you can go and do handheld camera stuff because your audience absolutely love you already and you're quite a big brand, and so they'll feel like they really get to get a bit close with you, and that's perfect. There's a different rule sometimes for people who have already got a really established brand in a niche already.
Got it.
But if I've never seen someone before, you're going to be cold traffic. If I'm going to be the person seeing the video for the first time,
I was seeing yesterday,
and the video is, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then someone has this ad where they're standing in the middle of the field. My first thought is I am not engaging with you. And do you know what? There's so many judgments. I did psychology at university and studied it for years and years, 5 years, and then I did my master's afterwards. And I'm comfortable with the fact that I judge people really quickly because I know everyone does it. So,
sure.
So when it comes to advertising, I'm really good with it. But hey, I can judge this really quickly. I'll say it in a polite way if I'm face to face with somebody. But when I'm by myself watching YouTube, man, I judge. I get really judgy in a nice way. But so true. You make judgment calls so quickly because your brain has to learn really quickly and make decisions really, really quickly. And if you're someone standing in the field, that is occupying my brain 100%. Whereas if I already know about somebody and I know they're really good and all that sort of stuff, and then I see a video that's a bit less quality, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. Because the way I explain this, I think that I learned this recently at a mastermind in Australia with James Ramco. Imagine you go to a coffee shop the first time ever. That experience you have is going to make up 100% of your experience of that brand or that coffee shop. That first impression is going to make up 100% of your experience. If it's a place that you love and you've been there 99 times and then the 100th time you go there you get a bad experience, it makes up 1% of your experience of that brand. But you won't go back if it's 100%. If your first experience is bad or your first experience is weird, then you're instantly two things happen. One, I make an instant judgment call because that's all the information I've got on your brand right now. And two, I'm probably going to close down. Even if you show me another ad from you, again, I'm closing down. I said, no, I don't really like the way you came across in that other video. That's all I remember. And no, I'm not interested. And you make those sort of judgment calls and everyone does. And having studied psychology, I'm happy with the fact that that's the way the brain works.
Sure. I
just feel like if it's the first time you're getting in front of somebody and they don't know who you are, they haven't seen you before or whatever, you want to make a good impression. And it's so difficult to give a good impression with a handheld camera, I find. It's difficult to get that across. It's too occupying for the brain to look at that, first of all. It's I see people that try and do videos and there's they do a white wall behind them in their house or something and there's a light switch on the wall. I just feel oh God, that's occupying my brain, that light switch.
Your eyes go into that light switch.
Yeah, and all I'm thinking now is you couldn't find a wall in your house. That was your best make do. That was this is the best I can do in this scenario. This is what it's going to be. And I feel oh wow, I'm reading into that way too much maybe, but that's how my brain works at least.
Yeah.
But also I know I've done this in the past. I've gone to workshops and they said, okay, look, can you teach someone how to speak on camera? And if I have 4 hours with them, I can actually get them to be really good on camera. But I don't have 4 hours for everybody, unfortunately. But when I try and teach it en masse and I say, okay, we can all do this. We can do this. Get out your iPhones. And I watched some of the videos back and they said, hey, what do you think of this? I'm like, yeah, you really didn't get it. But I'm saying that from a standpoint of you've got to invest your time and effort and energy in learning how to be good on camera.
Sure.
And then once you do get it, then you can represent your brand well. The best people to judge you sometimes are your family. If you I show my wife some things and she's like, what on earth are you thinking, Tom? And I'm like, yep, good, thank you. And I'll go back to the drawing board.
Enough said.
Yeah, exactly. That's the feedback I need sometimes. Whereas if I show people in the team, if I ask my employees, hey, what do you think of this idea? They're like, yeah, great, boss. It sounds amazing.
Exactly. Yeah,
that doesn't help me.
Different feedback there. So what about what's the anatomy of a good ad? What are people, because people always say, well, what do I say on an ad? What do I say in a video? What types of things are you recommending? And granted, there's different types of videos, of course. Let's kind of take us through the sort of the anatomy of a high converting video.
Okay, cool. Because we've recently been testing something as well that I think is changing the way that we do everything in the agency when it comes to video production. So before this revelation that we recently had, what we were doing was we were creating videos which we called education. And these still really work very, very well, by the way. Don't feel like I'm abandoning this approach at all. But I mean, what that consists of is a really good video that just gives the user exactly what they want. So when they're searching for something, you actually give it to them in the ad itself. So if someone's looking to how to play guitar, you teach them how to play guitar in the actual ad. You don't say, hey, look, I've got this amazing thing you're about to find out about. Go and sign up for it. It's more of like, let me just give it to you right now, and then you can continue that journey with me if you wish to. So the way we do it is we tend to say, like, have a bit of a hook at the start of the video. Like, in this video, you're going to learn how to do this, so you can do this, for example. Then we'll build a bit of credibility. So the person that's watching knows that they're learning from someone who's got the credibility that they're worth learning from. Mm-hmm. And then we normally break it down into either a story or a 3-step process, like a model, for example. They can go through your model, for example. It might be a case study, for example, something that you can walk them through that's really easy to get. And also it shocks you. So it's like, wow, actually, I've never heard it like that before. And that's actually really cool. I love that. And you've got to try and get that in quickly. So normally a 3-step process is really good because our brain typically works in threes, and it opens up the loop as well. If we say there's 3 things I want to show you in this video, you're typically going to hang around until you've seen the 3rd thing.
Sure.
And as long as the first 2 are pretty good, of course. And then at the end of the video, you would have a call to action to say, all right, I hope you've really enjoyed this content. By the way, this is just a small subsection of what I can teach you in my upcoming workshop, for example, or whatever it is you might have to offer. There should be some sort of natural continuation from that video ad to the landing page, good continuation of brand and message, with a quick call to action at that point to normally capture name and email for a webinar or for a free giveaway, or it can be straight to a sale as well. If you had like a book, for example, we do quite a few book promotions that work particularly well. Okay. So yeah, that's typically how we run things. We've done that for a long time and it works incredibly well.
Is there, and then, before you go on to that next thing, your next thought, is there a length of this type of video that tends to work well?
So we try and keep it to about 3 minutes or less.
Okay.
We like it to be more than 1.5 minutes because we feel like you can't get enough content across to the viewer in 1.5 minutes typically. I mean, I'm talking very rule of thumb here. Like, I've seen some ads that have been amazing in less than a minute. So it's sometimes fine to do that. And some videos, I know we were talking about some clients earlier, that their best performing videos are nearly 7 minutes in length. So some videos will be longer, and it'll depend on the offer. Like, if you're going to sell something, you're probably going to need a little bit more time to warm that person up to go and buy something from you.
Sure.
So yeah, it's going to be a slightly different approach based on the offer, but it's normal common sense prevails, and trying to keep it concise, trying to keep the viewer engaged, give them a really good experience. And then normally at that point, you'll tend to find you get very high conversion rates on your website. So if you're used to, like, let's say 20 to 30% conversion rates on your landing page, you might get 30 to 40% from YouTube traffic just because they've spent 3 minutes with you on your video, they've enjoyed it, and they know what the deal is. So one thing that a lot of people do is do a lot of promotion on their landing page, because if they're doing like image ads to a landing page, obviously they need to do a lot more explanation about what that offer is all about on the actual landing page itself. But with YouTube, if they spent 3 minutes with you engaging with your video ad and then click to your website, they know what the offer's about. So I just say, just keep it easy for them to take the next step. Like, they don't need any more motivation. They don't need to be sold anymore. They know what they're going there for. So, like, keep it really simple. You need to have the bits in place so that you are Google compliant. But I mean, just make it really easy for people. Sometimes people overcomplicate it and actually make it more difficult. And people, like, just, it feels like a whole nother experience when it gets to the landing page. It's like, oh, that's too much. I just wanted to sign up for this thing because they're already there. So we try and keep it as simple as possible for the user.
Cool. So you said these are working. These are still working, but you found something new. Is that right?
Yeah, so we've been working with a guy in the guitar niche, a guy called Tony Policastro. Such an awesome dude. His videos are like just incredible. When we were like analyzing his audience, we noticed there were actually 2 different types of audience. People that would type in something like how to play guitar. Funnily enough, we've been talking about this already. When people type in how to play guitar, you typically find those people that are doing that fall into 1 or 2 categories. You'd have some people that would be like, they've recently picked up a guitar or they've been bought a guitar and they're completely new to playing guitar and they just want to learn some cool stuff to play their first song, perhaps. So you get like the newbies. And there'd be another type of audience as well. And the other type of audience would be people that are kind of played a lot of guitar already, are pretty good at it. They might have already bought like 3 or 4 guitars. They've invested in their hobby and their passion, but they've got to a point where they haven't really improved. Maybe they've stopped playing for a few months, or maybe they just can't break through and can't get into a whole nother level. And so they just feel like they're just in a bit of a rut, basically. So we had these 2 audiences that would be typically searching for information about guitar tuition on YouTube. And what we decided to do is say, well, at the end of the video, instead of saying click here to go and sign up for the workshop and just having like the traditional ad like we would normally have, what we decided to do at the end of the video is give the viewer the option. So this video runs for about 2 minutes, and it says, hey, look, I'm going to be able to teach you like a 3-step process to really become a much, much better guitar player. And it's going to be unique content that you probably haven't heard before, but I'm going to walk you through it step by step. But before we do that, and by the way, Tony Policastro does it 20 times better than what I'm talking about right now.
Can you spell his last name? I want to link that up in the show notes so people can check out what he's doing.
Yeah, of course. I'll send you the link to the video if you like as well. So yeah, Policastro is Polecastro.
Okay, cool.
God, it's so much more difficult to spell under pressure.
Put you on the spot.
Yes, yeah. So at the end of this video, we were saying, okay, we've got these 3 great strategies we want to share with you. But before I do, if I'm pretending to be Tony, before I do, I want to know a little bit more about you so I can tailor this content for you. So are you a newbie? Are you this type of person who's just picked up a guitar for the first time and want to learn how to play some really cool stuff? Or are you B? Are you someone who's in a bit of a rut right now? You've been playing for a while, but you can't seem to break through and you want to get a much better result. You choose A or B, up to you. And in the video itself, there's a clickable link to go to either video. So it's another video inside of YouTube that you'll click through to. But as a viewer, you now have an A-B choice as opposed to a yes or no choice, which is like a full dichotomy. It's like, I'm going to click one or the other. I don't know which one yet, but I'm going to work out in a second based on what Tony asked me to do. But it's not, do I skip or do I keep on watching or do I click to the website? And so then what happens next? Let's say, for example, you clicked on rut. You would then go through to a rut like focused video, and it will give you amazing content for you in your rut. Like we've segmented all of the newbies. They're not watching these videos any longer, and we're just focusing on this person that's in this rut, and we can really be helpful for that person. But likewise, if they clicked newbie, it'd be like, here's some amazing content for you as a newbie person. So you could just become a lot more focused on that user and give them a much more bespoke, useful information.
And the offer that you're making is specific to them at the end of this video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So whichever way they've gone, they've forked based on their identity, like who are they, rut or newbie, and then they get content that's delivered to them that's really useful and really helpful, plus a call to action at the end of it to say, hey, look, come and join us on our rut workshop, basically, or our newbie workshop. So you can go to the next part of the funnel that is dedicated to you as a guitar player. And it's working incredibly well. We already were getting really good results with the previous videos, but this is like upped things by, it's the official stats when I did the last check before I spoke at TNC was like a 30% increase in opt-in rates and a 50% increase in sale rates.
Wow. Just
by being like specific. But when we look back at the campaign after running a few more targeting options, we've realized it's a lot higher than that as well. So we're like, okay, it just works incredibly well, just like the splitting up of the audience.
What happens if somebody doesn't click one of those links? Does the video go on, or is the video only like a 30-second video where he's talking and then just giving 2 links?
So this video fun enough, we tested that. So we tested because when we realized the results we were getting to begin with, we said, oh my God, we should do like a 30-second one just to split them up quicker and give them better. And we actually found that like the 2-minute one worked better. That was really interesting for us. I still feel like I want to retest that and do some new videos to just kind of properly prove that out. Yeah, it looked like more and more people were kind of like liking the 2 minutes. And Tony's an amazing presenter. So when you see him speak, you're giggling internally. The way they create the videos are really good. So it's the sort of thing like you almost want to be interrupted by this video. It's when you see it, you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And to be fair, most of the stuff on YouTube about guitar tuition isn't that good. So when you get someone who's really, really good, who gets in front of you, you're like, oh my God, this is where I want to go now. This is who I want to follow. That comes back to what we were talking about before, right? It's like, normally the stuff on YouTube is semi-amateur hour. So when you actually see someone who can actually teach you stuff and is really, really good and the quality of the production is really high, you're like, why would I not go with this guy?
Sure.
So you end up going that way. By doing this, by kind of splitting this audience up, there's 4 reasons I love this. And the 4th one is something we knew was happening, but it's just like even more exciting. But like the first thing is giving a much better user experience. And that's really where it came from to begin with. We were like, what are these customers doing? Who are they? Oh, there's 2 of them. Let's split them up and give them a better experience. And that works really well. And the more that people click around in your videos, the more YouTube absolutely love you. So a bit like relevancy score on Facebook, we're getting really high view rates and quality score and engagement rates. So we're getting rewarded from YouTube for that, these types of ads. The ROI is much better as a result as well. So that's been a real big positive, of course. And that's kind of when it comes to the agency, that's what it's all about. But the fourth thing that's been really big for us is like the fact that you can now spend money on the right audience with remarketing. So if someone clicks rut, you can build a list of people that are the right people.
Yeah.
Those people are better because they typically are already into their passion. They've already spent money on loads of guitars. These guys are really serious about making purchases. And so will be a better return on investment, that audience. And so you can start spending remarketing money on that audience. You get some much better results going that way as well. So it's meant that we can just spend the money more wisely, like separate our audiences out. But you can apply this to so many different types of businesses. So we split people up on this guitar niche based on identity. We've just done some ads with Frank Kern as well, which will be coming out very soon, which splits people up based on their intent. So it's like, do you want to learn more about generating leads for your business or closing more sales for your business? It's like you choose whichever ad feels right for you or whichever video feels right for you. But then you could extrapolate this out. So like for fitness, we're just about to build one for a fitness space. It's like, do you want to work on your upper body or your lower body? Or do you want to find out more about like high intensity workouts or nutrition? Or do you want to find out about, so you can like really give the user such a cool experience. And we call it like your choose your own adventure, because do you remember the books that, well, I definitely read them. I'm sure other people like the books when you like turn to page 38 if you want to fight the dragon or whatever it is. And it's exactly that thing. You get to choose where you go next and you get to choose your adventure. And you could have multiple splits. So you could have people going off in all different directions. We haven't tested that too much just yet, but it means that you could really provide this amazing experience for your user and really better it out. So we're super excited by this. We're getting all of our clients to move in this direction.
Before we wrap up here, Tom, is this, when you click the link, is it going to another actual, just a regular YouTube video that might be in his channel or in the channel, or is it linking to another video ad?
So once you've got the click from the video ad, it goes to another video. Now you can promote this organically as well. So you could even, I haven't tested this actually, but you could even put the YouTube video, you'll know this, Rick, actually. So if you put the YouTube video inside of a Facebook post, you could probably even use that, right? You could like promote that post.
Yes.
There you go. So you could even get Facebook to work this, because then you can have like the split. That would link through to a YouTube video. So they'd end up on YouTube. Yeah, so your first ad is the ad that runs. But once they click, you're now just on a normal video. We tend to make those videos unlisted. Like we don't want people to just pick up on that second video from anywhere.
Sure.
Like in the channel, for example. So we'd have the first video, like the ad video, as an organic video as well on the channel. If they were to go through that, then they would see that they could split. And just because it's an ad doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good as an organic video as well. So we keep that open for people as well.
God, I love this. I mean, because this is something that, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. It's just as far as segmentation, and you know, by segmenting, you're ensuring that you're having the right conversation with the right type of person, with what they want to do, with what they want to learn, and where they're at, you know, in their business. And so I love that you're doing this now with video ads. I had no idea that. I mean, it's genius that you're doing this, and I'm not surprised that you're seeing 30% increases in opt-ins and 50% increase in sales. I mean, this is really, really good stuff. Is there anything kind of just quickly here that we haven't covered that you think that we should really, you know, make sure that we mention here?
I think one further thing that I think could be an interesting thing for like the people that are listening in and wanting to take this a little bit further. I think that one thing that is another targeting option that we're focusing on at the moment is custom affinity audiences. Now, it's like if you're used to Facebook, then it's like advertising to interest groups. And so your affinity audiences are people who are into this type of thing or into that type of thing. So you would have categories of different types of people. And there's thousands of different affinity audiences that Google already build out for people. It doesn't work in the same way as Facebook. It's based on people's behavior. So it's like, oh, these people are really into their photography, for example. So it'd just be a photography. I think they're called shutterbugs or something like that. So they categorize all these different affinity audiences. And sometimes those are good for you and sometimes they're not. because you might have one that connects with your brand or what you do as a business. But what you can do is you can actually go in and build your own custom affinity audiences. And the way you do it is you say, based on people that go to these types of websites or type in these types of keywords, I want to build a custom affinity audience, and Google will build it for you. So you almost say, here's what data I want to refine by Google, and they'll build you a custom affinity audience. And the great thing about the custom affinity audiences is they're huge, absolutely massive. Rather like a 2% lookalike audience or something like that. They get big numbers. And you can refine it. The more keywords and websites you put in there, the more refined it will get. It's difficult to get the right numbers. At the moment, we're seeing best results with about 5 keywords and about 5 websites. That's what we tend to see.
Oh, really? Okay.
If anyone's out there testing this stuff, then I'll love to have a conversation. So get in touch in some way. Custom affinity audiences are huge, really powerful. When we do get it to work, and it's probably 1 in 7 or 8 times we get it to work with different clients and things. When we do get it to work, though, the scale is just ridiculous. It's amazing. And it's something like, it's a really good cost per acquisition as well. So when you get it right and you find that kind of data set that does work for you, man, it's really exciting. So I say to everybody, like, see if you can build, like, let's say 10 custom affinity audiences and just test them, just see what happens. Because if it does work for you, man, it's very, very exciting targeting option to explore.
Now you say 5 keywords, 5 websites for one custom affinity audience. And you're saying, maybe test 10 of them. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you'd have like maybe you test like 3 and 3. Then you might test like 3 websites, 3 keywords. Okay. Then you might test 5 and 5, 10 and 10. Then you might mix those numbers up as well. So you just kind of like play around with it until you've got kind of 10 really good differences. If you know the websites that people, your audience typically go to, then you should be pretty good with that.
Okay.
But it's almost like having a remarketing tag or a retargeting tag on other people's websites. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like how I view it.
That's really cool.
It's like saying, well, if someone goes to Mashable.com, I've built an audience of people that go to Mashable.com. It's like having a pixel on there. So you could use that and then refine that with topics and other kind of keywords and things as well. So yeah, you can be pretty clever with it. We're still cracking the system. We haven't got that one sorted yet, but maybe next time I jump on this podcast with you in another 100 episodes or however many it'll be, we'll talk about it.
So much fun stuff here, man. I mean, I've been just taking all kinds of notes here as we're talking, and man, like I get all excited. I got all excited last time. I'm even more excited about it now. So, I mean, this stuff, I think you mentioned at the very beginning, this is still, even though it's far more competitive this year over last year on YouTube, you're saying it's still an open sort of frontier, and maybe we don't want to be proclaiming that too loudly here on the show because it's going to bring more people over there, but it's still, a widely sort of untapped opportunity for people to get on there and get in front of very targeted audiences.
Exactly. If you're thinking about getting started with YouTube without me, then, oh my God, it's so competitive. Don't even think about it. But if you're thinking about coming with me, then, oh my God, it's open. It's clear. It's everything. No, honestly, right now, it's one of those fields where I think that it's how you do it. So it is getting a bit more competitive. But the beauty of YouTube is it won't get as competitive as someone like Facebook as quickly, I don't believe. It's a bit like Facebook and Google and Instagram fall into the category of like, per user or per keyword, there's only one place you can be, sort of thing. It's like the front page of Google, someone's news feed or someone's Instagram feed. There's only kind of like one of those exists type of thing.
Yeah.
With YouTube, it doesn't quite work like that. It's kind of like there's loads of places you can be in. There's like remarketing covers the whole of YouTube, and wherever you go on YouTube, you could be there. So it's kind of like people explore and go everywhere, and the ads are everywhere. It's a bit like, it's more like the Google Display Network. It's more like when you go on like banner advertising, for example, you could be everywhere if you wanted to be. And that's kind of how YouTube is like. But with YouTube, it's just cheap compared to someone like Google, for example. But you can get in front of the same people. Of course, not everyone goes to YouTube for everything. So some niches aren't going to be perfect on YouTube. But I would say for any business, it's worth a go, especially with like remarketing. If you get a lot of people going to your website already, then you definitely want to use remarketing for sure, because you can just get back in front of them, the people that haven't converted yet. But it's such an exciting place to be. And it's a lot of good fun as well, because you can really build a connection with your audience. I think that video is such a powerful way of getting your message across to people. People spend time on videos as well. They want to engage with the videos. And if you created a good video that gets in front of the right people at the right time with a really good message and a really good offer, then you can't go far wrong. And then you don't have to worry about the competition too much, because the competition are going to be like the people in the fields creating the crap videos and things. Like, yeah, just move like up your game a little bit and you'll be way ahead of the field. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Tom, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming back on the show here. I've learned a ton. I know that people listening to this are going to learn a ton as well. I want to make sure that people can connect with you and learn more about what you're doing there at the agency. And I'm sure that you've got helpful resources and stuff for people. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, of course. So we've got like some training courses and things, and my personal website is tombreeze.com. So that's kind of like, go and check that out. It's good to enroll and you can see lots of presentations. If you like this stuff, then you can hear me rabbit on for 90 minutes if you wish. So there's lots of presentations and keynotes that I've done. And then our agency is viewability.co.uk. I actually got a quiz on there, like, will YouTube ads work for you? So that's quite a cool little quiz to take. And it's 6 questions. And then I give you a bespoke video, rather like what we've been talking about here, like segmenting the audience and giving them useful information. But based on where you're at in your business and how you promote so far and your types of customers, I can kind of guide you with a video based on the best way to get the best results from YouTube as well. So that's on viewability.co.uk.
Nice. I'll be sure to link both of those, your tombreeze.com and viewability.co.uk on the show notes for the episode today. Tom, again, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, man.
Good stuff. Thanks so much for having me. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that podcast. And if you want to get more information and more great content just like that, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll see the button on the video right now.